Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, a couple of updates. I ended up buying my dream car. This is a 1969 fastback Mustang. This is a Mach 1 variant, so it's got 351 V8 in it. I always wanted one of these cars and I always wanted to restore one. And I thought, what better chance to restore it with you guys so you guys can learn how to restore a car. I have decided after I purchased the car, I had these big dreams of restoring the whole car down to the bodywork, everything. And then once I saw the car's growing on me more and more. And I quite like the patina on the body. I quite like the little dents, the little scratches in the paintwork where previous owners have touched up the paint. I really like the look of it. So I've now decided what we're gonna do is sometimes they call it rat rodding. This isn't going to be a rat rod, so to speak, but what we are going to do is basically clean all the rust off the car from underneath the car. We're going to clean in between the wings, the doors, all the bits and pieces like that, but we're going to keep the body paint as original as we can. We may have to go in and repair little rust around wheel arches and stuff, and then we're going to have to basically blend the paint back in afterwards. However, what I wanted to do, I wanted to showcase this restoration. What I have done in the past, I've stripped the car completely down to the bare shell. And I don't want to do that in this series because if you're restoring a car for the first time, it is very overwhelming to take a whole car apart. And then after you're scrambling to put it back together, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you need. So what we will do, we're going to take like one part off the car. I'm going to show you my process of cleaning it, getting it prepped so it can go back on the car. And then once that things are done, we'll keep those parts aside. What this is going to allow us to do, it means that, for example, when we take the bumper off, we check all the hardware, make sure we've got all the bolts, that the threads are okay, that we don't need to replace the hardware. And then what we'll do, we'll write a little book out and we'll make notes. So we'll write down bumper complete, done, bits are complete, done, and we'll bag them up, put them in a baggie nice and clean, ready to go back on the car. That way, when you start putting the car back together, it's more of a case of you just putting clean new parts on the car than you stripping the whole car down, doing the body, and then you still have to repair all the parts in the reverse order. The other good thing about this is going to be like a light restoration. I could actually drive this car how it is now. So if you were driving your car around and you were like to yourself on a weekend in the summer, you're like, actually, I just want to get a few bits and pieces done. You could still do it and enjoy the car. That's a nice thing about doing a light restoration. So I'm going to take you through all those steps now. My plan is that we're going to start with the whole front end of the car and we'll work our way from there. I'm going to show you a few tricks that I've always applied to all the work I've done to make things a little bit easier for you. So let's get to it. Right, next thing I want to discuss is some basic tools, right? Let's start off with the most important tools, right? Even though it doesn't really seem like a tool. Gloves. It's probably best you wear gloves. I don't really know how even more to say that. You're going to be taking off bolts of the car. You might slip. You might cut your fingers on exposed metal. Some of this metal is rusty. I will mention something straight off the bat no one talks about. Tetanus. If you've never had a tetanus jab and you're going to restore a car, go and get yourself a tetanus jab. Tetanus is something you can get off rusty metal. I have a tetanus jab every couple of years. I can't actually remember the exact number, but I think it's every 5 or 10 years you should have a tetanus jab. Reason for that, stuff like that. That's where I'm taking something off the car. My hand slipped, it's caught on a bit of metal. Obviously, anything like that happens, it can become infected. So, gloves, number one important thing. Another thing that's not on this table, goggles, but I actually wear glasses, so, but you should wear goggles. Obviously ear defenders, stuff like that when you're welding, grinding, yes, but a basic set of tools is important when you're working on your car. You can pick up a cheap set, don't have to pick up anything expensive. If you want to pick up something half decent, you could pick up Halford's Advance in the UK. It's basically like a lifetime guarantee. Imagine it like Snap-on, but it's a bit cheaper. Tools are very robust. What you want to do is get yourself a selection of spanners, a selection of sockets, You can buy like a set, like a full set that comes with all of this ratchets. So you can basically undo bolts, various different size extenders. So you can get to kind of different locations, you know, smaller ones, things like that. These are really good. So like swivel sockets. So you put that on there, and then that kind of allows you to have some sort of rotation. So you can kind of get into hard to reach places. So if you've got like a tricky bolt, you could do that. Put your socket on like so. And then that's going to allow you to get into like a weird angle and then remove that bolt. Another good basic tool to have, screwdrivers. You're going to need these for pretty much anything, like taking apart your dashboard, your door cards, wiring loom, kind of like earths, stuff like that. You're always going to find Phillips or flathead screws. If you're working on a more modern car, you might find Torx, but we don't have anything like that on our car. Right. I always lay out all my tools. So I know what I'm looking at, because I never know what I'm going to need. Plus, cleaner work environment, cleaner mind, it just makes it easier to get things done. Right, I'm going to take you through the items we have on the table. Right, so when stripping the car, I'm going to have a bunch of different size boxes so I can store the parts that come off the vehicle so we don't lose anything. I'm also going to have various baggies. Now, the really useful storage box company, they sell these boxes. They're a little bit dear, but they're probably the best boxes because they just don't crack. Like, you put weight in them, they don't break because they're built quite sturdy. You can get cheaper boxes, but I just have always liked these boxes, so I've always used them. Baggies, usually buy these on eBay. You can buy them in like a huge pack, like a pack of 100 for like 10 quid. I always buy the ones with like the little strips on, so I can basically write with a marker exactly what parts are going into each bag as we take the car apart. I also like to use like a little box like this. I have these in various sizes as well. Basically, what I'll do is I'll take an item apart, and as I take it apart, all the bolts that are like dirty or anything go in there like so. I then would clean these, paint these, make these look nice, and then from there I'd put them into a bag, label them, the bag will go in the box. That is the procedure we're going to follow for the whole car as we take this car apart. We're going to take one piece of the car off, clean it, prep it into a box, and then we're going to move on to the next item till we have the whole front of the car stripped. Right, I'm going to start by stripping our lower front end of the car. Okay, start off with our front number plate. So we've got 2 bolts holding it on, nut and a bolt, get behind it. Okay. That's our number plate bolts out. So pull on the number plate like so. Boom, that's our number plate off. Right, moving on to our number plate bracket. We're now going to remove our front number plate bracket from the car. So if you look, I'm going to check. Oh, I think it's going to be a 7/16. Yep. So if you look underneath, you're going to see there's one 7/16 bolt there, another 7/16 bolt here, and then behind the panel, if you put your hand in here, you're going to feel there's a nut. So you're going to hold that with a 7/16 spanner, and that's going to allow you to get the number plate bracket off. Okay. That's our first bracket off the car. Okay, that's our number plate bracket. We've got a number plate on the table. We've got our bolts on the table. So, Let's start with bolts. So what we're going to do for, I'll get you a little bit closer. Right, for bolts, what we're going to do. So you can see these are quite rusty. I want to use all the original hardware. You can buy hardware brand new. How I'm going to clean the hardware. I'm going to take a wire brush like that, attach it on a drill. I'm going to take a set of mole grips, like so. So I'm going to take the bolt. You don't want to damage the threads, so I'm going to like take something to wrap around the bolt. So in my case, I'm going to use a little bit of Scotch-Brite. So I'm going to wrap the Scotch-Brite around the bolt like so. Tighten this up. So it's like a suitable tightness. Like so. Loosen up a bit more. Like that. So that's our bolt secured in there. I'm then going to take a wire wheel, put it onto the drill, like so. I'm going to put some eye protection on, and from there, I'm just going to go over that bolt, like so. And that's going to take off any of the heavy debris from the bolt. We're going to do the same thing with the nuts. What I'm also going to do is the thread on there, I'm going to take a little bit of Scotch-Brite like that. We're going to go there and clean the threads like so. We're going to flip our bolt over. We're going to take our mole grips again. This time we're going to put them on the head. So loosen it up. Turn up like so. All right, and then we're going to take this again. We're going to clean like so. Work our way around. Like so. And that's going to give us a nice clean finish on our bolt. Go back over that with Scotch-Brite. With the nut, we'll screw the nut on, like so, to the top of the thread, and then we'll just go over the nut like so. And once that's clean, we'll take that off. We'll flip that over again on the bottom edge. And that's that. And that's one bolt clean. So our bolt's clean. There's still going to be some surface rust on that. We're going to take this product I like here called the Rust Remover by Jello-Lite. So I'm going to crack this open. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to take a little kind of cap like that off of a spray can. Obviously find one without a hole. We're going to pierce a hole in our Jello-Lite. So, like so. From there, we're going to put a little bit of the Jello-Lite in this cap. Like that. And then what we'll do, we'll take our hardware and drop our hardware into the liquid. Same with the other one that we cleaned earlier. Drop that into the liquid. We're going to leave that to soak in there for around 5 to 10 minutes. And then after that, we'll take that out. Right, while those bolts are soaking, we're now going to move on to our next item, the number plate bracket. Now, looking at this number plate bracket, it's actually new. So I don't know if someone's replaced it, because I don't believe this bracket would have stayed so clean being under the car. We're going to peel this off, peel all of this off, pull it all off like that by hand. Might have to apply some WD-40 to get all the residue off. But we'll get this off and get this bracket looking nice, and then we'll go from there. And we will take a marker, and we will write on here, front, number, plate, bracket, and I need to get better pens. Sharpies are quite good. Tip on this is too big. Okay, take that baggie, open that baggie up, drop that in there like so. Right, and that's our first part, sealed, cleaned, ready to go back on the car when we're done. And that's now going to go into the box. Right, coming back onto our bolts. They've been soaking for around 5 minutes. We are going to take a bit of tissue, like so. Put that back on the top. We're going to take our bolts out, like so. Another cleaner, like so. Dab them dry. Put cleaner to the side. Dab them dry. Right. Take them out. Right. And what you'll see on them, anything that was rusty will now be cured. So the bolts will now look completely clean. Again, take that apart, that little wipe. Again, look, see that one now? It's completely clean. It's really good stuff, that stuff. We'll also use it later on the chassis of the car. But I really like that stuff. Okay. Right, next step is to let those dry. Give them like 2-3 minutes to dry. If you had a heat gun, you could just quickly heat them up so they dry. So we'll let those dry and we'll come back to them. Right, we've given time for those bolts to dry. I've basically popped them in a bit of cardboard and we put the nuts there. I'm now going to take a spray called Rust Encapsulator. It's a product by Buzzworld. I'm going to shake that can up and we're going to give them like a little light coat. It's basically a primer. I'll go there. Give them a coat like that. We're going to give them around 20 minutes to dry. Right, that's the Rust Encapsulator dry. We're now going to apply a bit of U-Pole Satin Black. So this product, like so. All right, we'll let that dry for 10 minutes and then we'll give it another coat, then we'll flip them and give the other side a coat. Right, that is our bolts cleaned, prepped, and ready to go back on the car at some point. Now we are going to do that for pretty much every single bolt on this car that we take off. We're now going to bag those up, so we're going to label those. Just make sure we're on the right side. Right, that's them in the baggie. So what we'll do, we'll put them in the other bag that has the number plate bracket. like so. And then we are going to add this information to the list that we're producing. Now I'm going to type the list on my notes on my phone. Obviously you could jot them down in a book like we discussed earlier, but we're basically going to write down that we've got the front number plate bracket done, the bracket bolts done, and it's all complete. We don't have to buy anything additionally, and then we know that's everything we need. Right, now we're going to get the front splitter off. Right, front splitter bolts bagged. Right, let's remove the front lower plinth. So you've got 2 bolts in the wheel well. So if you come from behind the wheel arch, you'll be able to find them. There's like 2 bolts on the corner. You've got 1 bolt kind of on this side, mirrored on the other side, exact same thing. You've also got the bracket that holds the corner of the bumper to the car. So undo those brackets as well, and then just push those brackets, tuck them into the bumper for now. Alright, we're going to let that swing down, and we're going to disconnect the cabling. We're going to unlatch the cabling like so. So lift that up, unclip that, twist that, and that's going to pop out, and that's going to release the front. We're going to do the same for the other side. That's our front splint removed. Okay, it's unfortunate. Okay. Done on that side. So I'm done on this side. Okay. Front bumper removed. Now, let's get the rest of this car stripped. Right, that's our front end stripped. Unfortunately, I didn't get to capture any audio, so I put some sound in place of it. But basically, to explain what happened, we completely stripped the front of the car. We planned to basically repair all the front section. The top sections had like surface rust and some deep rust that we're gonna have to cut out, but only minor on one of the sides. Unfortunately, we come across some major rust behind a bumper bracket on the passenger side. So we're gonna have to repair that frame rail, make new like mounting points for the bolts. We're also gonna have to do something similar for under the wing. So the bolts in this area were stripped out as well, so I have to drill those out, and I might have to re-drill the holes. Again, the same for the bonnet hinge on one side, the bolts just pulled through, so I'll have to weld those in later. I'm gonna end it here today, but join us next time if you want to see me repair the whole front end. Thanks for watching. So my audio stopped working for this bit, but I've decided to record this voiceover so you can see what we're looking at. So we basically need to clean the rust off the whole front end of this car. We're going to do the top hats basically on both sides, go in and clean up all the kind of rust you're seeing on the screen, cut that out and basically replace that. The worst kind of bit of rust we kind of found was just at the front, where the bumper bolts onto the passenger side. It's obviously just corroded behind over time, so we'll have to go in and repair that. The bottom part of the wing, we have to drill new holes and put new bolts in. And then where the brackets bolt up for the hood, we're going to have to put bolts in there as well because they were completely torn out when we replaced it. I'm going to stop the video here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I look forward to joining you on the next episode where we'll basically clean all the rust off our front end of our car.